Arman's brought it all on himself. You know what I mean? He's a stupid little spoiled brat, and it's his own fault that he hasn't got a title shot. He would have had a title shot by now if he didn't turn fights down, headbutt people at weigh-ins, punch fans on his way out. You know what I mean? And he only does all that because he's got daddy's money behind him.
Well, Paddy Pimblett, thanks so much for your time on Fox Sports. Always great to chat with you.
You know that fella, nice one for having me.
Yeah, thanks. It's very much a massive fight coming up at UFC 324. Bit of an unexpected one, though, not going to lie. I mean, what was your reaction, Paddy, when you got the call, hey, you're going to be headlining the first big event of the year, but it's going to be an interim title fight against Justin Gaethje?
Yeah, little bit of surprise, not as surprised after Ilia come out and said that he won't be fighting the first quarter. I thought I could just be fighting him straight away, but when he said he wasn't fighting, it wasn't too much of a surprise. Justin Gaethje's a legend. I can't wait to share the octagon with him.
Okay, what do you make of that whole situation, Paddy? Ilia Topuria stepping away for now to deal with those personal issues. Should he have vacated? Should this be an undisputed title fight this weekend for you?
No, it all depends how long he's going to take. I've said this in other interviews. If he's not ready by June, July, then I think he should vacate or be stripped, because he will have been champ for a year and not defended. So it's just a matter of time, really. We'll have to see what happens over the next few months once I win the interim belt.
How badly do you want to fight him, though?
He's the fight, lad. He's the fight everyone wants to see. He's the fight I want. I'm the fight he wants. Yeah. All of us want to do that fight. You know what I mean? It's like the biggest fight the UFC can make.
Why do you dislike him so much? I mean, we obviously saw the drama over COVID and that period of time, but what is the root of it, do you feel?
It was just something got said on Twitter years ago, and then he lied about it, you know what I mean? He said that I said something that I never, and he made it into an issue. It wasn't me, you know what I mean? He made it into an issue, and he tried to jump me with like 10 other people when I was stood on my own. He's lucky that I was on my own that day, because if it would have been with my team, we would have battered them all. So it's all from that. And, as a fighter, I respect him. I think what he's done's brilliant. Like, I'd love to do what he's done, and I'm planning on doing it. But as a person, I think he's fake, and I think I'm going to beat him up.
Well, that'd be super exciting to see. But Paddy, let's talk about the fight that you actually have in front of you coming up at UFC 324. It's Justin Gaethje, a legend of the sport, former interim champion himself. Paddy, what sort of psychological and mental preparation is necessary for coming up against the guy that many regard as the most violent man in the UFC? Because you're not getting out there unscathed.
I might do, He might get finished fast enough to come out unscathed, but I'd love a war. I've always said this in me 26 professional fight career, my 35 fight career, including my amateurs. I've never had a war, and I'd love to have one. I'd love to have a 5-round barn burner, but I just can't see it happening. I don't see him getting past the 2nd or 3rd round. Obviously, everyone knows I have an advantage in the grappling, but I think a lot of people think he has a big advantage in the striking, which he doesn't. And I'm going to show everyone that next Saturday. He's a boxer with leg kicks, and I'm an MMA striker. And I'll show everyone the difference next week.
Well, it's a great point that you make, because a lot is often made, right, of Justin being this all-American wrestler, but he never seems to rely on it very much. I mean, to be fair, so is Michael Chandler, and look how you disposed of him. Paddy, is that something that you believe to be true, that you are superior to him on the ground? And do you feel like that is the game plan, to wisely avoid the firefight that Justin will undoubtedly bring?
Yeah, that is definitely true. I'm definitely a much better grappler than him. My wrestling's severely underestimated. I did take Michael Chandler down. But it's nice for me. My wrestling gets underestimated. People don't think I can take people down. They think I'm just a jiu-jitsu fighter. But I'm not a striker. I'm not a grappler. I'm an MMA fighter. When I first started training, I didn't just wrestle. I didn't just do jiu-jitsu. I didn't just strike. I've done MMA from day one, and that's how I train. I don't do everything individually. I do everything together. So I'm an MMA fighter, and that's why I'm so good. Justin started as wrestling, but then he transitioned mainly to just a striker. You don't really see him use his wrestling, but if I want to take him down in this fight, I'll take him down. If I want to stand with him, I'll stand with him. And the gulf in class difference with the grappling and striking is a big difference.
But you're right, Justin Gaethje is such an exciting fighter, and this is an amazing fight that the UFC has put together. It was interesting, though, when Justin last fought, when he beat Rafael Fiziev the second time, he actually openly refused to take another fight unless it was for a title, and it's worked out for him quite well. What was your reaction when you heard that attitude from Justin initially?
Thought he was being a bit of a baby initially, like, because I thought I was going to fight him in the October, thought I was going to fight him in Abu Dhabi, thought that was my next fight, and then obviously no news, nothing happened. I was thinking, oh, what's going on here? I wanted to fight again last year, but I never had a chance to because of that. All the other contenders were matched up, so I didn't have a fight, and that's the reason I'm fighting so early at the start of this year, because I wanted to fight in October, and Justin didn't want to fight because there was no belt on the line. So eventually the fight's happening with the interim belt on the line. So it's all worked out in the end for both of us.
Yeah, it certainly has. Do you think there's been an attitude change from Justin? Do you think maybe there's a sense of entitlement there from him?
I don't know about entitlement. He said he got promised a title shot before he fought Max, but then obviously he fought Max and got knocked out. So you don't know, but you can't really get a title shot off a loss, so he couldn't get one after that, and then he beat Fiziev, which I thought he looked good in, but Fiziev took it on like 2 weeks' notice and was like ranked 12. So, I think Justin Gaethje does deserve a title shot, but it doesn't matter anyway because I'm going to beat him and he's not going to win the belt.
Paddy, you and I haven't spoken since Miami. I wanted to ask you, how do you feel like you've improved since April? Because it's a long time in between drinks for you.
It's a long time, yeah, and look at the amount of improvements I made between Bobby Green and Michael Chandler. I've done the same again. I've leveled up. Like, even when I get a little bit chubby and I've got some big cheeks on me, I'm still in the gym every day training at least 2 hours a day. So I get better consistently every single fight, and that's exactly what's happening here. My striking's at a new level, and everyone's going to see that. My grappling's some of the best in the world as it is anyway. That's why eventually down the line I'd love to fight Charles Oliveira and show everyone that.
Yeah, well, there's plenty on the line here. As you say, Paddy, a win for you mandates a unification bout against Ilia Topuria. But can I ask you as well, is there any sympathy for your man Arman Tsarukyan, who was promised a title shot if he beat Dan Hooker?
He wasn't promised a title shot though, was he?
Yeah, well, Dana said that it was very much it was a title eliminator, wasn't it?
But then he headbutted him at the weigh-in.
Yeah, he did.
Can't trust someone who does stupid stuff like that. Arman's brought it all on himself. You know what I mean? He's a stupid little spoiled brat, and it's his own fault that he hasn't got a title shot. He would have had a title shot by now if he didn't turn fights down, headbutt people at weigh-ins, punch fans on his way out. You know what I mean? And he only does all that because he's got daddy's money behind him and he's paid his way out of everything his whole life. Doesn't work like that in the UFC.
He's an amazing fighter, though. How do you think you match up against him if you guys are to be matched up in the future?
I hope I eventually fight Arman because I want to shut him up. He's a little idiot. I'd love to beat him up. Everyone thinks his grappling's unbelievable. I don't think it's that good at all. If you can't submit Shara Bullet, lad, who's a striker who can't grapple, then I don't think your grappling's that good at all. Before he fought Dan Hooker, I thought that Arman may have been a tougher fight for me stylistically than Ilia. But after watching that fight, he's not. Ilia's a much tougher fight.
Well, speaking of the man that he beat, Dan Hooker, he's one of our big stars down here in this region. A really ugly war of words between the two of you. Is he somebody that you want to fight now, Paddy? And are there any regrets as to how all that panned out?
No, not really. I never said nothing bad about his mum. Mrs. Hooker's probably a lovely woman. And I never said a bad word about his mum. But then he goes on and says something about my dead mate who can't defend himself. It was a bit weird. I had my friend's family messaging me saying what's going on here and all that. So, like, the way people have went on about what I said, but no one's condoned what he said and said, what are you doing mentioning someone who's dead, is very, very strange. But, that's the MMA world for you. No matter what I do, no matter what I say, people will make me look like the worst man alive when I just used an analogy for how bad Dan Hooker's grappling is. Dan Hooker's beneath me now, especially when I win this belt. He's 5-5 in his last 10. He's an absolute crab. You know what I mean? People are calling Michael Chandler washed, and Michael Chandler knocked him out in 2 minutes. So what's Dan Hooker? You don't mention dead people. And that's what Dan Hooker's done. Dan Hooker's mentioned a dead person and basically tried to say it was my fault he killed himself, saying that I'm not a good friend. Like, that's below the belt. What I said was nothing to do with his mum. Never said a bad word about his mum. What I said was an analogy for how bad his grappling is. And somehow I'm the bad guy and I'm the one who's in the wrong when he's mentioned my dead friend.
Okay, understood. But Paddy, I got to thank you so much for your time. You've got a massive fight coming up at UFC 324, and we can't wait to see it right here on Main Event.
Crusty fella, can't wait to put on a show for everyone.